let's move quickly to the an issue that we discussed last week, Richard. It still shares the biggest part of the spotlight this week. The EU Parliament resolution that was made on September 8th? And this week we saw protests in Uganda. A group of students who were protesting the move by the European Parliament to block, actually to halt the EACOP project, and the president also again reiterated his position on the matter. Actually, angrily, he used words like that some people are insufferable. Some people are insufferable, and he also said that Uganda, they are making a mistake, but because Uganda will be a wrong battleground for such, if they dare, Uganda is a wrong battleground. And he also says that the plan will be implemented according to the schedule. What do you make now of this, and especially Richard and Gerard? This week, the equipment for rigging arrived. That gives hope that probably it's still the plan is still on course. I think you saw those tracks, and yesterday I think I received pictures indicating that the assembling of the rig equipment has also started. Gerard, what do you think?
Of course, the president's speech at the oil and gas event was a highlight of the week. I remember he said, this is too much ego and ignorance about people who know nothing about Uganda and the region. It brings me back to what we were discussing here last year with Richard, and then last week. And we say the issue of integration is a matter of survival, because the only way you can defend yourselves against such interference is by coming together as a region. If you are, say, Congo, Uganda, speaking with one voice on such a matter, it will be ignored. It will be abandoned. But if you're a small Uganda speaking alone,
No, it won't be ignored.
Exactly, it won't be ignored. But if
you're alone,
then you will be stampeded by people. For me, my position is, let government and Total and others address the issues of human rights in areas of compensation to people, communities affected by the project. Let's ensure that we take care of the environmental mitigation measures to ensure that we don't affect people who lie within the radius of the pipeline. But on the issue of the pipeline, this we need, technology will change in the future. I have no doubt about that. But if you have an indebted country like Uganda, with a lot of priorities that are not able to be funded, I believe the project will go ahead. And I think the president is speaking from a point of confidence. He knows that if Total probably is denied funding by probably the Chinese, who are also shareholders, could step in, and then they will do the role that Total would do. So I see this project will go on. Already there is progress, like you have noted. I saw those materials that arrived. So I believe EACOP will go ahead.
Richard, what do you think?
I like the president's diction.
Really?
Yeah, the use of words. You see, insufferable. Too arrogant, extreme arrogance or deceitfulness, unbearable, intolerable.
Ignorant.
You know. So I like the choice of the word insufferable. I think that some positions are insufferable, some positions that people take. There are some activist organizations that are insufferable. They are too extreme and it doesn't matter. And I give you the example here.
But Richard, What they are saying is just wait for at least 1 year, work on these issues we are talking about, then move on. They are not stopping the project.
Yeah, I actually can use the word stop. They are stopping the project. Because
Really?
if you say stop for 1 year, it is stopping.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not halting.
It is stopping. If you say don't move for the next 1 hour, you have told me not to move. I am halting. I am not moving. It's just the time that you have defined.
Can't we
But I have
do
halted.
these things concurrently?
That's what I was
Exactly.
coming to.
Go
That's
right ahead.
exactly
Go right
what I
ahead.
was coming to. But you see, first of all, the arrogance for me. The arrogance is consistent. This has been, for centuries, this arrogance. You cannot go to Libya to mediate. No, please. You go there, I bombard you. Any African president who flies to Libya to mediate peace talks or peace, I will bombard you. This is a continuation of this insufferable state of these guys. So for me, that's one. Like I said last time, I said the resolution of Parliament of the European Union has propaganda value. That's what I said last time. Yes, it has propaganda value because it doesn't have the force of law.
Yeah, true.
Yes, it's not binding. Yeah, the government of France makes sovereign decisions. So, and I'll tell you how the propaganda has played out. And there was, and you talked about it. There was attempt at counter propaganda by a mobilized, facilitated, relatively confused group of young people who, if you pay, there's one girl, I think she's from say high school, right? I said, you didn't tell me.
What
was it that you were? Yeah, I mean, the messaging is very confused. I wouldn't make her my spokesperson. But so you could see, again for me, it is this shabby attempt at communicating back. I don't know why we are shabby every time we attempt in our communication, public relations, image construction or reconstruction. So, but that's another matter. So yes, it had propaganda. It has propaganda value. That one I said, and you could see the propaganda. We are attempting to go back and take a statement to the EU office, but it has no force of law. That's the first thing. The second thing is that it may, like I said, increase the cost of operation of the EACOP by the insurers becoming a little bit more hesitant until, because when you are a politically exposed person, a PEP, or a politically exposed project, even in Uganda, a lot of NUP people or opposition people regarding the opposition to government will find trouble getting financing from government. We attempted to get financing from 2 of the banks here with a colleague who is very vocal on television and radio talking about government policies and laws and operations. And they said, no, that one is a PEP. Politically exposed person. We are hesitant to give them money. Although the securities were very good, our flows were very good, that's the same as a politically exposed project like this one. So the insurers and the financiers may be hesitant until the fog is cleared. And that means that then you get alternatives who are usually more expensive.
So if even when the EU resolution, Parliament resolution is not binding to member states, it has an effect.
Yes.
Direct effect to the project.
Yes, that is why you see we had to run around here. That is why you have to come out in combat and quarrel. And the truth is that there are environmental parties and environmental groups in Europe and everywhere, whatever you do. And I said that whatever, it doesn't matter. They will stand and look for the environmental problem in your project. And there's always an environmental disadvantage to a project and other advantages. So it's a balance. And for me, like Dr. Wanzara says, the balance is that the EACOP has more benefits than not. Now, highlighting, and this is where the resolution is valuable, in my view, highlighting the evil that we are doing to our people, the displacement, the robbing from them. You bring compensation and you give it to ghosts. You bring your people, ghost claimants, they get compensation, these don't get. You evict these people brutally. You take over their lands, and then your own people in the system are taking advantage of that and also brutalizing them further. You are destroying the environment. Really, while you have a good plan on paper for maintaining and restoring the environment, on the ground, you are doing evil to our environment. Yes, the European resolution should come. At least they have the courage, because many of us here, we fear a drone will come for you when you start talking. So the dronization of security in this country makes us fear to talk. But at least the Europeans, you have no drones to go and pick them. Yeah. So that's the value for me, that we must clean our act, or at least let's get exposed. Even I know we are callous, we have impudence and impunity, we are insufferable too. So we will ignore, but at least let that come out and be documented.
All right, this is the dialogue. Richard Baguma Tinkasimile and Dr. Gerard Wanzara and me, Prince Apollo. We'll be going for a break. We are looking at several issues. Of course, we'll be coming to conclude on this particular topic of the EACOP, the 3.5 US dollar billion project that is now, I don't want to say at stake, because Richard and Doctor say that it's possible that it will continue as planned. But again, we have to look at what happened in Parliament. NRM retained its 6 seats.
They box each other.
Opposition, but also having an MOU with the ruling government. NRM took 1 position, then 2 independents, also NRM leaning. Opposition, it's another big issue maybe we have to look at, and especially that the biggest or the largest opposition party in Parliament, the National Unity Platform, boycotted this whole process. Richard, I'll start with you again. As a communication specialist, as we look at this matter of the EU resolution and the reactions and counter-reactions around the whole issue, do you think we as a country, as government in power, have we reacted appropriately to this particular resolution?
I think we could have done better. I think we have a lot of room for improvement, especially regarding the way we communicate. Generally, I think that we are quite arrogant.
We ourselves?
Yeah, I think we are quite arrogant. We have a lot of self-entitlement.
As we blame others to be arrogant.
Yeah.
We are
insufferable too, I said, before we went for a break. Our impunity is really insufferable. Yes, and we have a lot of impunity. Yes. And it reflects in every aspect. And you know, when you have impunity, communication is the first thing that the way you communicate, verbally or non-verbally. But the first manifestation of impunity is our communication. I think we could do better. But also, for me, the early warning kind of system, because this we saw coming. We saw young girls confronting the French president about EACOP. We saw our own activists. You see, if you have that young girl going to the parliament in Germany or wherever and meeting, I think that was France also, meeting the president, and if you have these opposition guys all going and addressing MPs in Europe and other activist groups, and you have images of people who have been thrown out of their lands, who have been violated. I told you about the high levels of measles and malaria and child malnutrition as a result of the displacements. And I saw this a couple of years, not even very soon. When you see, for instance, how come we rushed to give information to the public about the oil and the oil project and the oil process, which we already all reserve, and felt really we had impunity in releasing it. Very arrogant. We used to be very arrogant. We all now run to TVs to tell the advantages. Why were we not communicating this? And so this feeling that mwagara kunkorachi, what can you do to me?
This impunity.
Yeah. You. So that, but also to be smarter and anticipate that, look, this is how the opponents are communicating. We have these spaces and chances to okulimburura, to counter, some of this information? Why do we put it out? And the budgets exist for some of the institutions, and the people are paid, they are in places, all this communication, I don't know what. But the CEOs and the political supervisors see this as a waste of time and energy until a crisis manifests. And then we have to invest in crisis communication. And I think that's what we are doing, crisis communication. So I think we could have done better, and it's not just on oil. I tell you, Apple, we really bangle up our communication repetitively. We really do. We need to do a surgical reassessment, but also a transformative reorganization.
Okay, Dr. Gerard, we saw it coming, like Richard says, and we had, and we still have spaces to address such an issue. I think, to me, I think, if we engage those on a level of diplomacy and using our diplomats, I don't know, do you find it, I mean, possible to have addressed this matter in any other way other than now taking school kids to streets and exchanging this strong
yeah, that is the communication challenge he's talking about. First of all, the person you are sending to communicate the message, does she or he understand? They just see children and interpret it like they don't know what they are doing. They are being used. But it has to be a multi-level approach. One, let's first accept, are there underlying challenges to do with human rights in relation to that project? Yes, they are there. Can we as a government, as stakeholders, make a commitment to correcting those? Yes. If you corrected that and invested in publicity of what you are doing to solve that, then you would actually win a bigger war. Okay? Two, the environmental aspects. Communicate the environmental mitigation measure you are doing, where, maybe at what cost, and how it's going to protect the environment around the project. That's another issue. Three, of course, it's at diplomatic level, engagement. But if you only get a few students who know nothing to go and protest there, by the way, I laugh. The government has been ferrying people to China. You're aware about that. To go and learn from the Communist Party how they communicate global as a party, as a government. But have not seen any changes. They have been ferrying people from the media center, where. So always we communicate like fire brigade. Fire breaks out, then we run with water to put it off. So we need to do certain things to ensure that things go. And this has to be, as a government, we need to review how do we communicate in all other aspects. There are a lot of things, good things that the NRM government does, but at the end of the day, nobody knows what is happening. But as I conclude on this matter, I've been on social media networks. There are people, I saw a cartoon which was depicted that before they are saying my oil. Then when the European Union passes
our oil,
it's our oil now, they're against our oil. So can we also remove exactly? Others are like, since it is easy oil, let it first stay in the ground for some time.
It's amazing. Richard, as we conclude on this matter, actually I don't know if you have noticed it from the responses, especially from government and including the response from His Excellency, you don't hear messages of, well, we acknowledge that there are these violations, there's this, we find anything sensible in what you're saying, and we are now going to do this, this and this. We cannot stop or halt the project, but let's, as we move on, as we assemble the rigging equipment, as we do this, let's also work on these issues you have raised. I don't think if that is happening.
Maybe they don't intend to do it.
Exactly.
That's why they're not communicating. Yeah, maybe they don't intend to change. They want to continue violating what the violations are happening, and they don't intend to listen to these insufferable people. So, yeah, because you see, and that's what we are talking about. A statement from the minister responsible for oil. I think that's the minister for energy.
Energy, yeah.
Yeah,
Honorable
would have come
Ruth
out.
Nankabirwa.
Yeah, would have come out to say, we hear you. We respect that the European Parliament has its position. We assert that this is not binding on us. We think the European Parliament has not given us an opportunity to explain what is on the ground from our perspective, which violates the rules of natural justice and fairness.
No, actually, to supplement your submission, the response from NEMA, at least, is like, we did everything.
Yeah, but you see, that's what I'm telling you. Why NEMA?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the European Parliament is
on the environment.
Yeah,
We
no.
saw-
They are saying
Is
we
it also
did-
in charge of human
We
rights?
did
Exactly.
impact assessment and everything is fine.
We
But
saw,
is it also in charge of
we saw
human
a
rights?
very comprehensive statement from the Minister of Energy of Tanzania
Yeah,
on
exactly.
EACOP,
Exactly.
but we have not seen ours.
Yeah. Why? So you have, and you now outlined the mitigating measures. First of all, the good things about the design, about the technology, and about the construction of EACOP, because they are very good. These very good, very important environmental mitigation measures that were put in place, high level, high grade, modern, that you then outline. And then also you address the human rights situation. We have compensated so many with so much. There may be some remaining ones. There may have been some that we didn't go well, which we are addressing using these mechanisms. And then you respond. It's professional, it's firm, it is, but none. None. So if I say maybe they don't intend to, you go suffer. Yeah, I mean, we go on. And that's the impunity now that I tell you about. That those levels of impudence, also arrogance and impunity, they make you pay certain prices.
All right, viewers, we must move on. We wait to see how this will pan out as we wait. The 2025, I cannot call it a deadline for our oil. Hopefully it will come to manifest and become a reality.